Leave it at that.
I don't have a huge amount of...
Are you ready?
Oh, we'll talk about how stressed I've been.
Yeah. I have loads to talk about.
Great.
So, yeah. Hello and welcome to Put in an H, a Die Hard Simpsons podcast. My name is Terry.
My name is Andy.
Andy, how the heck are you?
Very well, Terry. Very well. And how are you?
I too am well.
Good to hear it.
Now, Andy, before we get started, I see you have a can on the table.
What, this whole thing?
Don't open it yet. Because me, like a good friend, bloody idiot, I picked you up a can in the shop. And now you got two cans.
I'm a toucan.
So the one I got you was Rain.
Total body fuel. Oh my
It's
goodness.
a lemon flavour.
I feel like... Did I try this?
You got a different Rain. I think you got like a red and blue can. Because remember I was talking about this the last week. I was like, what was it? Like Excalibur, King Arthur? What was the name of that energy drink?
Well, let's just compare. This one has... The one you gave me is 200 milligrams of natural caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I've got here...
What's the one you're looking at there?
Oh, this one here is moose juice, Terry. Thank you for asking.
The
That's
can
moose juice.
looks so cheap.
It does. It's berry flavour.
It's bright purple and it has like a cartoon moose.
Cartoon moose with flexing his muscles.
Yeah, my one looks a bit more
sugar-free, I think.
Well,
yeah.
My one looks
Now,
like it could hurt you.
Is yours sugar-free?
It is.
Okay.
0 sugar.
I'm going to try your one, Terry.
Oh.
I'm going to put the moose juice aside.
Save it for next time we're in studio.
Oof. Now, I tell you, I'm immediately put off by the black top. What have you got there?
I'm keeping it.
You're even interrupting my drink with your drink. Yeah. What do you got there?
Regular Lucasade original can. Again, they seem to have discontinued my Citrus Clear. They brought in a citrus crush or chilled citrus or something.
Oh. I tell you, that is rocket fuel, Terry. Jesus, it's lemon, HDZ, whatever that means.
Looks like something that you'd mix it with vodka and it'd be tasty, you know?
Yeah, it would. But I feel like I'm like that guy. Like I hate that. This moose juice was in the fridge in work all day, and I'm like, what are people thinking? Like, when I buy it, I want to have the caveat of like, look, I have a podcast, I test them out. No one's asked for it. No one's ever once commented on it. But it's just something I've imposed on
Nobody
myself.
thinks about these things. He just thinks, oh, that guy bought the moose juice. We haven't sold one of them in 6 months.
The specky lad, the guy who always buys the moose juice, you know.
Well, actually, yeah, that would have been us when we were working in the shop.
You know what I was only thinking in
Your
the
man
shop?
who buys the Carpe Diem, that's sicko.
You know your man, the fucking... just, like, you know, he's 20 Silco Purple, the fucking... hell yeah. You know, like, it could be whatever. Oh, him,
Little small fucker with like grey hair and a moustache.
I love the real obscure ones. Like, he looks like he spent years in a whatever prison.
His stomach his body is shaped like a lowercase b.
Oh,
Yeah.
lowercase b.
Yeah.
He turned, and we were right
That's
at him all along.
sicko.
I was only thinking...
Go back to our Catch of the Day archives if you want to know the full story on that one, folks.
It was just christened lowercase. I don't know, it was B or D.
It was B because it was his tummy came out if you were looking at it from
a fucking freak.
the side.
There's loads of freaks around there. Like.
None of them lived in Marino. That was the weird thing. They all congregated.
Didn't he live there?
Maybe he did, but he wasn't from Marino. He wasn't OG.
Born and bred.
He wasn't one of us.
I was only thinking the other day, I don't know if I can tell this on the podcast, but
Maybe save for Patreon.
well, I was gonna say, remember, because I was only talking to Kerry about, I can't remember what it was, but I came back from like a week off or whatever, and I was looking for the fob to get down the back, and you know, like the girls in the deli. Sophie, she was Chinese, and she was like, I was like, can I get the key? She's like, oh, you got fats? I was like, thank you, great to be back. And then I was thinking of your own escapades with the other Chinese girl Jenny when she.
Oh, I don't even want to go into that. Like, you already named. Maybe you can just bleep out her name.
Yeah, I'll bleep out her name.
Do bleep out her name. But there was a girl who worked and she wanted me to put my name down on the form as the father of
her kid's birth cert.
Yeah. And I was like 22 and I was like, I'll have to think about it. I was like, no, I don't think so. Thank you, though.
What a mental proposition, by the way.
What was I getting out of it? And being a good guy, as always.
You see, gets you nowhere.
Yeah, sucker like me.
So listen, Will you listen to me?
Yeah.
What's been going on?
I've been doing a few things. I tell you what, last Monday, so we're talking almost 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah?
I went to the cinema. I was back, Andy.
Yeah?
Went to see Tenet.
Good, is it?
Hard to say.
That's a big fat no in my book.
It's 2.5 hours.
Well, that answers it.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
And the action is good. Like, the action is all practical.
What's it about? Give me. Pretend you're explaining it to a 6-year-old. Tell me what it's about.
You couldn't explain this film to a 6-year-old. That's the thing.
Spare me,
Like, you know, like Christopher Nolan's films all kind of...
Batman guy?
Yeah, so like a lot of his films, like say Inception or
All right.
Memento, they all kind of have something to do with time. You know, like he plays around with time in a lot of his films. This one does that too, but it's kind of like, is it a load of bollocks? Like, what's he talking about here? Like, there's a scene in it where
Has
it's
he
like
jumped the shark a bit?
a little bit. Like, I'd love if he went back and did something smaller, like The Prestige or like Memento or something like that, where. Like this film,
Prestige.
Prestige is a great movie.
Is that about the magician?
Yeah, the two
You
dueling. I
love
love that movie. You got Batman, you got Wolverine. They're turn of the century magicians.
I just remember that from even again the century. I'm telling you, can't well. Prestige.
I'm telling you.
What was the other one that was like a lesser extent of the other magician movie that was out around?
The Illusionist. No, thank you. And you were like, that's the one. Way better. I'm like, no, that's the cheap, shitty one.
Yeah.
No, but like, how would I say it? There's a scene in it where he's talking to a girl and she's like, pick up the gun, shoot the gun. And he shoots the gun. But here's the thing, Andy. Instead of the gun shooting the bullet goes back into the gun. So he's like, there's like a hole in the wall, and when he presses the gun, the bullet flies back from the hole. It's like time,
like that.
time
like
moving
sort of
backwards. Like it's a lot. It's not time travel till it is, but also
it's manipulating time.
they call it inversion in the film, which
Don't like that.
Yeah,
But go on.
but so like that's cool. But then when they start really getting into that stuff, you're like, what? What do you mean? Like, what's going on? Okay, like, that was cool. That car went backwards and kind of flipped over. But
why?
But no, not even what I'm talking. But what is he talking about? This Russian guy you're saying? And why is this happening?
Did it get like rave reviews?
No, it got very, like,
Did
like it's one of his middling ones as his career has gone on. But look, I'm glad.
How old is he? I get the impression he's a young guy.
He's like in his 40s, I think. I think his like his second movie was Memento. And that was when he was in like his, I think that was 2002, and he was in his 20s. So yeah, I'd say. But like, so he made such a big splash with that.
Yeah.
That it's kind of, and like he can do whatever he wants, whatever movie.
Carte blanche.
100%, because those Batman movies he did like the superhero movie was dead when he made Batman Begins, and then when The Dark Knight made like $1 billion before Marvel movies were a thing. And it was like, okay, you do whatever you want. Like, you make...
Okay, great.
You go make Inception. As long as you do us another Batman movie that's going to make us another $1 billion, you do what you want. And all his movies make a lot of money, but old Corona seems to put the kibosh on this one. Because they were saying this was going to be the first film released back in cinemas in the US.
Made during COVID, like...
It was made, and I think he edited it. Like, it was filmed, had wrapped, but he edited it during COVID. But it was like... 17th of July is when cinemas are opening back up in the US. You know, this is what it is. And it was like, no, not happening. They kept getting... It was limited release over there now, and they had international release, but like... I think
what would you give it then out of like...
out of 10, I'd give it like a gentleman's 6. You know?
Yeah, that's polite.
Yeah, it is polite. And like, I will say Robert Pattinson is great in it.
Yeah, of course he is.
John David Washington, the son of Denzel... yes, I don't know if you've ever seen Black Klansman.
I turned it on. No, actually, I watched the trailer on Netflix and I thought, nah. I wasn't mad at it, to be honest. Like Spike Lee, I can kind of take or leave at times, and that one, I can generally leave, to be honest.
Yeah, people were raving about this one. He won the Oscar for best screenplay.
Yeah.
I was like,
I like your man Ricky from Ballers. He's the main guy or whatever.
In what?
In Black Klansman.
No, he's not. Main guy in Black Klansman is John David Washington. Oh, maybe that is Ricky then.
Same guy, yeah.
He was a footballer in real life before he was an actor.
He?
Yeah.
He's a footballer in Ballers.
Yeah. So that's Denzel's son. and he's
That's his son.
Yeah, and he's the main guy in Tenet. But get this, and you're not gonna like this. It's called The Protagonist. Is the name of the character in Tenet. Didn't even have a name, and I was like,
Who calls him the protagonist? Everyone.
Other people call him the protagonist. Like,
the protagonist was in a second ago.
No, but he's like, you said I was the protagonist. Like, I said you were a protagonist. I'm like, no. Tear up the
too
script.
much they're trying to.
Whereas Robert Pattinson is just like kind of breezy. He kind of comes in and out of the movie.
He's great.
I'm like, make this guy James Bond. He's like Roger Moore. Like,
Make him James Bond.
You know, like he could be James Bond.
Who is James Bond currently? Still Daniel Craig?
Yeah, his last one is coming out in November.
Any word on who's going to be?
No, they're talking about Tom Hiddleston, but then he's kind of gotten a bit too old. They're saying now, like, because if you want to have
Pattinson.
great
James Bond.
I mean, he's a new Batman.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But you could do both.
I think he more suits James Bond, to be honest, than Batman.
Yeah, definitely. Like,
I'd like to see him as Batman because he's Robert Pattinson and I love him. I don't know how that.
I am in love with him,
and I'm in love with him.
and I love you.
But okay, Tenet. I mean, I'm not going to see it, but
look, you could wait. If I was saying somebody, if you're on the fence about going to see it in the cinema,
don't.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be rushing to see it. I was, and now I'm like, okay, I went to see it.
Did you go, Faye?
No, I went to my own.
Nice.
Bit of me time.
Do you think that skewed your? No, you know what? I'd say it wouldn't because I was, and I was watching Bulletproof the other day, and I was saying to Kerry, I was like, "You are in for a treat if this is as good as I remember it." And of course, it didn't age well. This Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans.
Archie Moses, I gotcha. Hands up, Moses.
It's dead on.
Yeah.
But like it was so bad, and when you can just say, like the person you're watching it with isn't enjoying it.
Yeah.
So you're not enjoying. I was thinking if I was watching this on my own, I would at least chuckle. I would have chuckled a bit more because I would just be like, funny.
Moses.
Yeah, But the fact that I've presented this as this like hot shit movie.
We should describe what this movie is. It's Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler.
They're criminals. This Carrie's like, how are they even together? These two, like this Jewish guy and this like
they're working for
black guy.
Is it James Caan? Is the
yes. And it turns out that whatever Damon Wayans' name is an undercover cop, and he stings Adam Sandler in some deal. And
gets shot in the head or something like that.
Yeah, and then there's
survives?
he survives, and he gets a metal plate in his head, and then there's a whole thing of like who's crooked and who's not, and the two of them are like traveling across the desert together. Like
it's like it's a watered down Midnight Run type
that's
movie.
Exactly what
like
it is,
that's what they're going for, but just they can't match it, and it's hard to do.
It's so not funny though. I forgot. Like I was thinking, like when he's in the shower singing and all that. Like that's funny and all.
What
this.
was he singing in the shower again?
No.
Oh yeah.
And then like he's trying to escape
himself up.
He's trying to escape. You just see the gun going right into his ass. Like he's out the window. Could you take that out of my ass, please? Your man's walking back like, how you doing? Like he's all soaped up. I literally turned it on for the remembrance of that scene alone.
I mean, it sounds pretty funny.
You just see the gun like going right in. See, it's good.
Yeah,
I tell you, if we were watching that, we'd be cracking.
Absolutely, man.
But that's
I tell you what I have been watching at home, because I don't know if you saw that Zodiac is on Netflix.
I've seen it's on it, all right, and it looks promising.
It is amazing.
Amazing.
Best film in 2007, and 2007 had There Will Be Blood and No Country for Old Men.
This is better.
My opinion.
Put off by the runtime, to be honest.
Yeah, but you know what? Like
I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. If you like true crime, right? You and Kerry like true crime.
She loves it.
Yeah. So, and why? I mean, I wanted to watch it anyway with Faye before. I think we watched it years ago, and she kind of fell asleep halfway through it. Now, not because of the movie, folks.
That tells me everything I need to know.
We were watching it late at night. You don't want to start it late at night because, like you say, there's a bit of a run time on it.
Yeah.
But
you want to start at like 6 o'clock.
7:30 is it's acceptable.
It's a commitment. It's a whole thing. It's a whole night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, what else are you gonna be doing?
I suppose. I feel do you find since Bonnie's Born that like it's a real accomplishment when you watch. Well, you probably watch loads of movies, but like
not as much.
I kind of feel like like when Johnny was born, like it's like we watch a movie tonight, like and then you
I'm,
watch a movie to completion. I'm like, really accomplished something today.
I'm
like,
constantly like movie, like no, like
it's almost like a running joke in our house. Every Saturday morning, we'll be getting ready or we doing something like movie tonight. Like it's like when it always comes time, it's like just put on whatever.
We're watching the reason why I wanted to get Zodiac in because we're watching a true crime documentary series called I'll Be Gone in the Dark. Have you heard of this?
No.
So it's about the East Area Rapist or the original Night Stalker or the Golden State Killer. He's gone by 3 different monikers. And it's, I don't know if you know Patton Oswalt, aka Spence.
Of course.
Yeah.
Give me some credit.
Yeah. Well, his wife was like, I think she was a true crime like blogger or whatever, and she kind of got obsessed with this case, and she ended up writing a book about it. So it kind of focuses on her investigation into it. But
I'm not sure if I didn't see this, but I've seen something about that.
Also passed away there recently, or so it's like kind of like her obsession with this lead to her passing away. Kind of with that all in it, it's very sad, but it's also very similar to the Zodiac in that this guy was just hitting all these places in Southern California, and then it was like they're saying he raped 50 people and like killed I think like 13 or something. But like as you go on, it's just fascinating. Like and then it's like had my juices going for like some
true
more
crime
from some serial killer stuff.
Tell you what, if you want. This is
Zodiac, guys. Watch Zodiac. And you watch it. It's fucking
I'll watch
dead.
it. I will. I actually, that's one that I will come back to.
Iron Man's in it.
I seen that.
And the Hulk.
Yeah, I seen that. Kerry started to watch this like thing. I don't know. Faye'd probably like it. It's like this girl. It's like a video podcast, but it's like it's called Murder, Mystery, and Makeup, and it's this girl, like attractive girl. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
But she just is applying makeup and telling the story of some true crime thing. It's only about half an hour each one. Like each video's got like 3 million views. Like she's got like 2 million subscribers on YouTube.
It's like that gamer girl.
Something like it's like a podcast.
But it's that kind of niche there. That it's like I'm talking about stuff that appeals to boys, but also girls as well.
So there's a bit of that. So I'm kind of
big Venn diagram there.
Exactly, intersecting circles. So I mean, I don't know if Faye'd be interested in that.
I won't be recommending it.
Okay, well, you know what? Forget it. I'll tell you what else I've been watching.
Don't you point that finger at me.
I'll tell you something, pal. I've been watching High Score on Netflix. Have you seen it? It is.
I haven't watched it.
Brilliant.
It's about the gaming.
Yeah, from the start to Sega versus Nintendo to their whole. It really breaks it down into like it's really started like. From like literally from Space Invaders all the way through, and just like the breakthroughs of like, oh, now this is like the Sega Genesis is 16-bit, and their whole marketing strategy was like, one was defeat Mario, so they needed a character. So Sonic, he was a bunch of things. He was a rabbit at first. He was a bunch of other things. I don't know how they ended up on Hedgehog. Lower the price, that was another thing.
A rabbit would make more sense, wouldn't it, than a hedgehog? If you're talking about speed.
I don't.
Rabbits are quick. Hedgehogs are notoriously not quick.
Yeah, I don't really get it. But hedgehogs have a bit of edge because, well, the way they
it's
drew
in their name.
Because he's got, he's got the spikes.
Hedgehog.
You know what I mean? And then they had a whole plan of like insult Nintendo, aim for teens because Nintendo was for kids. And it's like, if we aim for teens, the younger brothers and the younger kids are going to want to play it anyway.
Good strategy.
We'll steal some of those anyway. It's very interesting to see the people now. Like some of them are like straight up weirdos, like the guys who created whatever game. Like, but
do you remember all the weird games you would find on the Sega and Nintendo?
Sega had more sports games. That was a big thing for Sega.
Sega had a lot of sports games. Remember, you used to get
Madden was a huge thing when they went to.
But they used to have like Wave Sports was a game. You'd have like you'd have like surfing.
Yeah.
Hang gliding, all that stuff, and then they'd have like snow sports or whatever. Like, but I was like, I'm not going to play those games.
Yeah.
You never get to play these sports. Like,
what was your jam? Were you a Sega or Nintendo?
I was a Nintendo.
Now, were
After
you
a Commodore? I went to Nintendo.
See,
SNES.
I don't remember the Nintendo, the NES.
No, I never had a NES. I had a Commodore instead of a NES. So
what was the Commodore?
Commodore 64. You had a tape cartridge that you put in. You had a keyboard, and that you could get instead of a pad, it was a joystick. So you get games like Bubble Bobble on it, or like remember Dizzy?
No.
He was like a little egg person that you would like jump around with, or like
actually.
you could get like I think Street Fighter 1 was on the Commodore, but it was always you go in. My mom would get them for £1 in like one of the shops and be like, "Oh, can I get that tape? Dizzy in the jungle, or Temple Dizzy." Oh, like I didn't have all the Dizzies.
Yeah.
But it would take you put it in and be taken forever. So when it was loading, the screen was loading, it'd be like one of those seizure-inducing screens. Be like like pink, purple, blue, green, yellow lines all flickering. You're like you're waiting for it. You're like, when does it finish?
Just having an epileptic fit.
But no, Commodore. Then I was SNES.
Did you have a Sega at all?
My friends had Segas. I played Segas in there.
Sega was a bit more.
Was it
more
though?
teen? It was a bit more. It was a little bit cooler.
Yeah,
they had games where you could like proper like you wouldn't really have a Nintendo like a violent game.
That's true. On Sega you could have
like Terminator versus RoboCop and shit like that. Remember Pigskin Football? I do actually. Yeah, I never played it, but I remember it. But
video scene across the way.
Video scene, of course.
Yeah.
Do you remember even just like renting games, or even before memory cards? Like you couldn't save your progress. You imagine like
the amount of times
now.
I tried beating that Aladdin game on the SNES.
Did you have the start? Did you have the cheats?
I never used
ABBA?
it. I never used it.
Oh, I tell you.
But it was like you have to get so far, and
that's it. And it's like you have to turn off. Like, but I've nearly finished it. It's like it's dinner time.
Bedtime, like.
And the memory card was like you had 8 megabytes. 8 megabytes was the memory card that you could save.
Jesus.
And even like when they say Sega and Nintendo like 8-bit, 16-bit, that's not actual bits. They must mean megabytes or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Like 16-bit.
No, like
because
like look at Sonic. Sonic was what 16-bit.
Yeah.
So like it was or Mario, whatever, Mario 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or 1. Well, 1 kind of seemed like it probably was about 8-bit, but like 2 and 3, and then Super Mario World as well, which was the best one, where you got all the different coloured Yoshis. You get a green Yoshi, a yellow Yoshi, a purple Yoshi.
Now, do you pronounce it Yoshi?
Yeah.
I'm a Yoshi man.
Why would it be Yoshi?
Well, because I think, now correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't it like a sort of, it's a Japanese game.
Yes.
I think Yoshi is short for like Yoshihiro. Not Yoshihiro. Yoshihiro. So,
anyway.
Pretty sure it's Yoshi. Yeah. I think they say it in the movie. That's where I cemented it.
Well, the movie can go fuck itself, all right?
Oh, what? Dennis Hopper? Bob Hoskins?
I listened to a podcast with John Leguizamo, he's Luigi.
All right.
And he was like, that fucking movie. He turned down a role in Philadelphia, like Oscar-winning movie. He's like,
Troy McClure.
He's like, and you turned down a role in Philadelphia by Super Mario Brothers. He's like, I thought it was going to be a hit. I'm getting in on the ground floor. It's going to be huge.
Will it be a hit? Critics say, yeah.
And like, he basically talked about how like Bob Hoskins, he's like, he was the nicest guy, but he fucking hated doing that movie. Like, they just go to the trailer and get drunk.
No way.
He's like, come on, John, let's go get pissed.
I loved that movie back in the day.
Terrible movie.
I mean, it was terrible.
The Koopas in it. Like,
I don't even really remember them.
The Koopa, they're like in leather jackets and weird. I don't know. It's just odd.
There was a lot of those kind of movies around then, like those 90s, like the Street Fighter movie.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, that was better. But
not really.
Not really.
There's a reason why they say the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie is the best video game movie. Like, you should watch that actually. I would watch with Joni.
Yeah, I would watch that.
It's good.
They doing?
Jim Carrey is kind of.
She likes Sonic. She plays the original.
Sonic is good, and it's set in the human world, but there's enough cartoon wackiness in it that it's fun.
I would recommend High Score anyway, if you're into that sort of thing.
I am into that sort of thing. I just haven't got around to it yet, but maybe
Well,
documentary.
Listen, Terry,
Yes?
have you more to talk about, or can I please, if you will allow me to talk about The Simpsons, can I talk about The
Hit
Simpsons?
me.
We are talking about the third episode, Terry, of The Simpsons' 7th season. Home Sweet Home Diddly-Dum-Doodily, a title that I know you're a fan of. It aired...
Better you say it than me, because I definitely was going to get it wrong. Dum
It aired on October 1st, 1995.
I find it weird that this is like 95 only. I'm thinking like
What did you think it was?
97. Maybe it's just because it's season 7. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I think
like,
so, yeah. But see, it's mid-90s. Like we would have been, at this point,
I would have been
10. You'd have been 9.
I would have been 9.
Like I said, it was directed by Susie Dieter, who's come crawling back after she had issues with the script on last week's episode.
Did you know who wrote it?
Written by John Vitti.
Okay. Did you notice, just before we get in, because was it Swartzwelder who wrote the last one that she had? Did you notice in this one when they were outside City Hall there was a statue?
Yes,
where it said
Swartzwelder.
like,
on a horse. Like it is.
Very good.
It was the first episode to be made after Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein became showrunners of The Simpsons. I guess they became showrunners in season 7. They had new showrunners every season, did they?
They kind of go through cycles. Who was it last time? Was it
I thought it might have been Oakley.
No, it wasn't Oakley. It was
Mike Rice or
Rice and Gene did it one year, but remember they left to go do the
Was it
critic.
Swartzwelder?
They did the
Oh,
critic.
yeah.
No, who's the other one? Fuck, why am I blanking on this?
Hey Google. Bear with me.
Oh God.
Who was The Simpsons showrunner?
Top search results.
Show me results for bear with me. Okay, well played. Anyway,
You got my number.
you got me, Google. The story was pitched by writer George Meyer at a story retreat. Story retreats were held twice a year at a hotel room close to the studio lot where all the writers gathered to pitch their ideas.
Huh.
I wonder why they did that. Why they didn't just use the writers' room?
Who do you think was the showrunner in season 6? And if I tell you now, you're going to be like, of course, we mentioned them every episode last time. I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a clue. His name is a synonym for a pubic wig.
What? I'm even further from the answer. What is it?
David Merkin. A merkin is a pubic wig.
Okay, there's not to unpack here. So, merkin is the word that's a pubic wig.
Yeah, not David, obviously. Like, yeah.
What's a pubic wig, first of all? And why has it even got a name?
I don't know, it just is.
Is that a wig for your pubes or a wig made out of pubes?
Interesting, I would say it's for your pubes.
Like,
Hey, Google.
don't listen to him, Google. Like Will in The Inbetweeners when he shoved that wig down his...
I would say it probably is for...
What would you want?
Well, say you're in a movie or something like that. Like, you know, you got to have a big bush.
Merkin.
Yeah.
Even the name is unappealing.
Well, tell that to David Merkin. He's doing pretty well for himself.
Out of all the ideas pitched, Weinstein considered this episode to be the best, and he thought that the pitch by Meyer was the best he had ever heard. Oakley and Weinstein selected former full-time staff writer John Vitti to write the episode, wanting a heavy hitter since it was going to start the 7th production season. Vitti retained his script for most of what Meyer pitched at the retreat, so essentially he didn't change.
I love the
a huge
idea
amount.
of writers' retreats.
I'd say I'd love to be a fly on the wall in one of those sort of conversations, you know? Especially at the Simpsons
Like
one
even
at that time.
Hearing like how they do the writing for Saturday Night Live, it's like they go in like Tuesday,
Yeah.
and they like stay up all night for the majority of the week trying to like break.
Just bang it out. Like,
But it's like you're sitting in a room trying
Just
to come
throwing
up with,
ideas.
yeah, you know. Like,
I love the environment of like, I would imagine not necessarily having like a lot of ego involved. I'm sure there would be with some, but like I love that environment where you'd be like, no, that's not good, or no, I'm not. No, that's not where we want to go. We want to go with that. You know, you'd have to get a bit of a thick skin.
I think something like The Simpsons would be a lot more collaborative as opposed to Saturday Night Live, where it's like, I want my sketch to get on. Like
I never got my sketches on. Basically doing Larry David here. I think I had one sketch it out after midnight. I said, I'm done out of here. And then I came back the next day. That was the one where he just came back. He's like, didn't you quit? Like, what? Oh, I was just kidding.
The Leo Messi.
What is that all about anyway? I'm not even going to get into it, the messy stuff.
He's staying. He can't get out of his contract. It seemed like
so it's not ending amicably anyway.
No, he's like, I'm staying, but I want to leave. So he's definitely be gone next year, unless.
Why would Barca do that?
Because nobody's going to pay.
How much money have they made? Like,
nobody's going to pay the 700 million for him, and they're not going to let him go free. I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
They're still footing his wage bill, though.
They are. He's going to go free though next year, then, isn't he?
Yeah, but they're like, well, you get one more year out of him. Jerseys, whatever, you know.
I suppose, yeah. Anyway, the episode, it was directed by Susie Dieter.
Said that already, mate.
There is a statue portraying wrong again. Writer John Swartzwelder outside the courthouse, which we talked about. Oakley said that this was a mistake because he and Weinstein had thought that Springfield was located in Swartzwelder County, incorrectly going off a montage in the season 3 episode Dog of Death. I don't understand what any of that means. I'm just reading it as I'm talking.
Dog of Death was, I guess, when Santa's Little Helper got sick.
Swartzwelder County.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Let's just get into the episode.
No, this is my bit, Terry.
I want my bit to get on air.
The montage depicts Springfield as being located in Springfield County. It's more of the Springfield County stuff. Cast member Hank Azaria's voice for the character Cletus was slightly distorted in this episode because over the summer between seasons, Azaria and the producer had forgotten what Cletus sounds like.
This is the first one I can remember. This is like the start of Cletus coming to prominence, isn't it? Like of him being his own guy. Like
kind of, yeah.
He was like always like
just like background yokel.
Like, hey ma, you know, like, but it was never given the name Cletus, you know. Whereas now it kind of seems like
a side character.
He's going to start getting his own things, you know.
That's funny.
Unfortunately, if you ask this podcaster.
The episode finished 53rd in the ratings with a Nielsen rating of 9.0.
Still though,
still up there. Like it's up from last year.
Yeah,
Stoner still dining off the
Who Shot Mr.
Burns a couple episodes ago. Fourth highest rated show on Fox that week, following the X-Files. Fair enough. Beverly Hills, fair enough, and Melrose Place. Again,
fair
those
enough. Two, like
in American.
X-Files was a force. I forgot how fucking huge the X-Files were.
But I was never into it at the time. No. Tony was huge.
Was he? I never got into it. But I think I'd like it if I went back and watched it. Just the idea of overarching story, but also episode of the week really kind of appeals to me. And that like every now and again you get something that would add to the main story. But really it's like, we're going to investigate the bug man in Arizona.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of like
flesh eating. Wasn't it Keenan's dad was in one episode?
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Roger.
It's fine.
He was in one. Man, mind your business. Anyway, he was like some
having an anniversary party, are they?
Well, they never told me
about it. I never been so insulted in all my life.
Last thing I'll say with this, Matt Groening thought this episode was fantastic and called it one of his favourites.
Figures.
Of course,
one of his 500 favourites.
He particularly liked the ending, which he thought was sweet. Didn't need to be included. That's a nothing fact.
Make sure we update it with what we're saying.
I will. I didn't do it last week, actually. Put in H says it snap, crackles, and pops.
Let's go get into your notes here, Andy.
Okay, I've made, yet again, Terry, I've made some notes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just accessing them. I liked, the first note I have is that how I appreciated how Marge is so on the money at the start.
I love that montage.
She's quick. She's getting everything ready. She's saying, like, I have the letters separate. Make sure you know all this sort of stuff.
I loved how, because I only watched this morning. I was trying to keep it fresh. So when she twists the bag, the music, you know, and I was like, okay, I'm in. Like, and she's
so on the ball.
She's doing everything for everybody.
And it's an important sort of plot point because she eventually goes, or in the eyes of the law, she's a bad parent.
I will say, this hit far too close to home watching this episode, to be honest. Like,
What do you mean?
I just like you're bad parents. We're taking your kids.
know.
I'm like, what?
I don't remember it being so like. I was only saying to
quick,
Carrie, it's
like-
like when they're going around the house, like it's so quiet without the kids, and I'm like,
Low-
how fucking horrible!
Yeah,
like,
like-
I know they're only next door, but like Jesus Christ, just like that, like your
And
kids are
even-
gone.
But even like, I'm like, fuck Flanders, man. I'm like,
Flanders
they're
didn't come
fucking
across.
asshole. Like,
I was thinking
give
that.
them your kids back. Like,
All of a sudden, he just doesn't want to know, like, Homer and Marge, like, there's no dialogue
yeah,
between them.
it's like, I didn't have the conversation of like, look, I know.
Yeah, this is
but
a bit of
we'll-
an awkward situation for
We'll keep
us.
them safe.
Don't
like,
worry,
you
yeah.
know, like, or whatever like that.
It's like, they're our kids
It's like,
now.
no, they're cordoned off. Yeah, and that whole thing is like, he's like, we're gonna make you Flanders at the end.
Baptising
I was
the
like,
kids.
what are you doing?
Oh, he's
like,
actually a
lock
bit-
this man up. Like,
He's actually a little bit, like, sadistic
he's
in
a
this. Like.
fundamentalist. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
So you see sort of like the dark side of Flanders.
of
like,
religion.
well, you said it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Now, let's not get political.
Okay. Or religious.
Yeah.
Now, my second note is, we were both laughing at this because this is us to a T. When Homer's like, Marge, there's a spider next to my car keys. Only Carrie's not like, you did the right thing
Yeah.
by. She's like, well, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I didn't realize that was this kind of meme thing where like Homer's like looking
The
through
look,
it. Yeah.
That's also the look.
Yeah.
But it's like, now, it wouldn't be necessarily be with spiders, although I did kill one in haste last week. And Carrie's like, why didn't you just throw it out? I was like, I panicked.
I killed them. I fucking killed all of them.
Yeah, yes, Terry, yes.
Squished them all. And flies as well.
Flies can get the fuck. I tell you, like, if there's one fly in my house, it's unacceptable. I have to get them out immediately. They're worse than wasps.
Well,
Noise
no,
of
they're
them.
not, but like,
Noise of
we
them.
got a lot of fruit flies going on.
Oh, yeah. How'd that trick work with
They're
the...
pretty good, but they're back. Because the heat, you see. The humidity.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
roll in. I'm ready for winter now at this stage.
Oh, I love a bit of winter. Bees and wasps are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, if a wasp gets in the house, I mean, it's
You're
shocking.
You're smashing things.
I swear it is shocking how quickly I'll abandon my family without giving it a second thought. If there's a wasp in the room, I'll just leg it out and I'll just be through the door. I'm like, get rid of it.
They're like banging on the door.
Yeah, and she's just like, whatever. And I'm like, this fucking thing, daddy long legs, any of them.
Yeah, I love killing insects. To be honest.
Ugh.
Maybe that says something about me.
Whenever I kill a fly, I'll tell you what is the most satisfying. Hitting a fly in midair and seeing it drop. And I'm always like, yeah, tell your friends.
Tell you, if you can catch a fly in between your two fingers.
You can't do
I
that.
did
You
it.
can't do that,
I
Mr. Toner. No
did
one
it.
can.
I did it. Nobody
You
would-
caught it in between your fingers.
I tell you, I
Got
was
any proof?
Kev. From
The big
shop, Big man. He actually called me Mr. I don't know how I did it. And then I was like,
In work?
Yeah, in work. And I was like, caught the fly. And he's like, what are you, Mr. Miyagi? I was like, what do I do? Literally like this. Like, just,
The fly's like,
Yeah.
help me.
like, what's that, little buddy? Kill
Yeah.
everyone.
I tell you, that fly's got real close.
Just walking around on my shoulder.
What's that, Reginald? I have the English.
Oh, yes.
The
I knew
guy-
you'd appreciate this guy when I was watching it.
I love. First of all, I love the scheme that is like a free. What was it?
Free tickets to a spa
Yeah.
with test drive.
The test drive, and I just like the fact that like he's just like fiddling with the mirrors.
Yeah.
Like, what advantages would this have against, say,
A train.
which I could also afford?
Yeah.
And the fact that like he starts talking about one thing, and by the time he comes back, he's like, gently massages your buttocks.
He's like, now, Count Homer, should we discuss?
No, we shan't.
Yeah.
So far, I like. By the time we get to here, I'm like, okay, let's
Like,
go.
I like it now, and then it's like, I don't know. I'm like, just take the rubbish out as you're going out the door. You know?
Yeah.
You know, or just.
I can't believe that Marge left. She's like, I get it. She's like, I'll just bring some ironing with me and all this. But like, she's leaving a full-on like rubbish sack just in.
Just grab it and put it in the garbage bin.
But she'd be like, okay, just give me 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll just
100%.
give a quick
like,
tidy,
yeah.
and then we're.
And I
gone.
appreciate
come
where
back to it.
Homer's coming from. You know,
Yeah.
Like, it's a really nice gesture.
He actually appreciates, right? It's typical Simpsons. Like, for once, his heart's in the right place,
and of course,
and their kids get
the
taken
worst
away,
possible scenario. Like, I did like when they're like, "Oh, Grandpa's gonna watch them." He's like, "Behind you,
God, don't do that.
don't do that."
I was a fan when they're at the spa. It's like, all is
Oh, I
well.
knew you'd like that as well.
Turn tape over. And I tell you what, that takes me right out of it. YouTube have gone mental with ads now.
hate
and the
it.
amount of, and like you're watching something that's of like volume 4, and then the ad comes on at 10.
Boom,
Dun,
boom,
dun,
boom,
dun,
boom,
dun, dun,
boom.
dun. I'm like, oh Jesus, I'm right out of it now.
We have Bonnie watching on YouTube for when you just need a little 5 minutes to yourself, do
Yeah.
something in the kitchen. African nursery rhymes that you stick it on. It's like 40 minutes of African nursery rhymes.
Do you watch Little Baby Bum?
No, what's that?
It's going to change your world if you put it on.
No, well, I don't want to put it on.
Like, it sounds weird. It is weird, but it's like just nursery rhyme compilations. But like, it's probably a similar thing with like graphics or whatever like that. But like acting them out. But like it has like billions of views. We watched it.
don't
We
like
just
that.
came across it, and since then I've heard loads of people like, "Oh, stick on a little bit of Baby Bum or
I
whatever."
like our African ones because it's different.
Sort of broken English, like broken.
It's not even. It's all like French or whatever. So it's like, oh, lele.
Ah,
Oh, lele.
Is it live action or
No, it's all
animated?
animated. Like,
Yeah.
so there's some that she can, when it's coming up, she's like, ah, like she loves it.
nice.
Like, yeah.
Now, I will say, word of warning, is Joni, because the thing about YouTube is like, if it's just on, even if they're playing and they're not watching it, eventually it goes into like, I don't know how they do it, but these videos are like automated. You know what I mean? Like bots. There's some sort of like, it's like red ball, and it'll go down the thing, and then it'll be like blue ball, and then you have like a Spider-Man just doing some like dance, and it's like, what is going on in this? It's so bizarre, and there's so many things like this. I don't think this is suitable. Like, it's just weird. So
Needs monitoring. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, so we downloaded the kids YouTube app, which is great because she was just watching Minecraft gameplay videos, and the kid would be like, I'm gonna go over here, and it's constant noise.
Yeah.
So we had to sort of
Cut
get
that
rid
in,
of that.
yeah.
I mean, Bonnie's not near at that level
No.
yet, but
That's what I'm saying. It's like 10 minutes. Like, okay, the fucking kitchen is a mess from her last meal or whatever. It's like, need to buy myself 5 minutes.
Nothing wrong with that,
Yeah.
Terry. That's all I'll say.
That's what I was looking for there.
Absolutely not. I was a fan of the lice shrieking
Yeah.
when they got burned, but just even the whole concept of like
The lead up to it, like the picture day, like he has the fangs in, but then like you see like Nelson in his like suit. I feel like punching myself. And then Millhouse in the wicker basket.
yeah. It's like, how come like I have lice and nothing happened to Millhouse?
So cold.
And then like I love that. So you have Bart, he's got lice, and they burn his like clothes. They give him a sack.
Lisa's prescription shoes.
I did like that joke.
Yeah.
Those are prescription shoes. I need them.
But see how high they're up as well, like.
Like proper bullying going on. And then when she gets hit with the ball, it's like, ow. It's like, what's up?
Yeah. My
so-
tongue. Principal Skinner, I need some food. And this is another thing that pissed me off. I'm like, what is Skinner doing? Like, straight away, like, I'm ringing child welfare.
Yeah.
Like, talk to the parents.
And I have to say, I liked the fact that when child welfare burst out of their building, they immediately like ran over some kid's bike on the road. They never like child welfare just destroying this kid's property. But
when they get to the house, first of all, they're breaking and entering.
yeah,
A lot of things I'm like, what the fuck?
yeah,
like,
there's a lot of
like,
things that was I didn't like necessarily in this. Like
the
the voice, big fan of the
both of them.
on both of them, but especially your man. I was like, yes, they should be here.
A disheveled and malnourished man found sleeping in his own
some
filth seems confused and dehydrated. He's like, "Where's the baby?" That's her, isn't it? She's like licking at the dog bowl.
Like, stupid babies need the most attention.
Yeah, his voice is great. It's another one as well, like just like no name. He's like Agent 2 or whatever, like, but he's like killing it with.
And they have, I have to say, in the last couple episodes, they've been killing it with these side characters, like one-off characters. I like the fact that when they get home And everyone's like, little bedtime reading.
Squalid hellhole.
Like dogs mating on dining room
I
table.
love that.
How does he understand, like, you know?
Like, he's just so ashamed, and then, like, does a little circle walk and lie down.
I appreciate that, like, he understands English so well, the
Yeah.
dog. Like, he just
But he can
knows.
speak it. The scene is a bit too real, very real. Was then like marriage is like, why are you taking my children? I
Yeah.
can't. And like
Mr. Simpson restrained you.
and
Like,
like, oh
Jesus.
my god! And just the way she was like holding Marge,
Yeah.
you know, like holding
It's
it
a bit
back.
too real,
Yeah,
like.
man. I was like, oh,
And I did actually, in that scene where Lisa's talking and her tooth falls
Yeah.
out, it's like, it was loose.
yeah,
It's like perfect timing.
yeah. The
Yeah.
S. What else you got? No,
I have so the Simpsons are staying at Flanders, and it's all different. I'm a big fan of all their like little differences, like, and they read Newsweek instead of nothing.
Yeah.
It's a great line.
Who wants nachos Flanders style?
Yeah, what was it?
It's
Cottage cheese?
cucumber with cottage cheese on top. Like, ooh.
The whole time is like unflavored for me.
Yeah. Well, no, I want to see this here.
One of them was
It was
unflavored, and the other one
yeah,
was
but it wasn't. It was like ice milk or something like that. Frozen ice milk.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That rings a bell. Anyway, when they're watching the Itchy and Scratchy, it's like, how about we would do what Bart and Lisa want? And it's like, it's actually one of the good Itchy and
Yeah,
Scratchy ones.
yeah.
Like, it's like, why my only
I
son?
love when the baby bottle goes in and like you see it
It
coming
comes
out.
right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so satisfying. And then, like, I love the fact that, like, Rod and Todd are, like, twitching. Like,
Yeah.
they're white and twitching. And it was like, what's that red stuff coming out of whatever the cat? It's, like,
like-
it's a raspberry jam.
When he says, he's like, should I?
Poke Rod with a sharp thing?
No.
No, son.
But he looks
sorry,
at Bart, and, like,
Bob.
Bart is so happy, he's like looking up for like approval almost, like from Flanders.
Like, that was good, huh?
Yeah. Huh? You like this?
I love that. It's like, no, son.
Yeah.
Like, you never hear Flanders getting stern.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, they try ringing the kids. Like this whole bit with Homer and Marge try ringing the kids. And
It
it's
was
like,
genuinely sad when they were
Yeah.
going around the house. Like,
he's like, I can see Lisa, but it might be a starfish. Oh,
Yeah.
like, and
and then, so, I tell you what.
when they ring and it's like, the number you've dialed can no longer
Yeah.
be reached from this phone.
You.
Negligent monster.
And so they go to the. I knew you'd appreciate this scene as well, where he goes to the judge and they're talking about. It's like, but Mr. Simpson, shut up, judge.
First of all, he's like, no, I'm not going to win Fan of the Year. It's like, in fact, I'm probably the last guy that should have. And she just like crooks the eyebrows, like, let me start over. I have listening skills.
Yeah, and it's escalating more and more.
Yeah.
So she's not listening. It's like, but I got it.
Communication, gotcha.
Mr. Simpson, shut up, judge.
So it was non-fat ice milk. Is what they use.
All right.
I want wintergreen, unflavored for me.
Not fat ice milk.
Yeah.
She sounds all right.
I did like that when Marge is in the meeting, whatever the class.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I saw my boy in a burlap sack, and they told me he had lice. He was like, "Is this story going anywhere?" All right, Flub, sit down. Flub, like,
Flub. And your man, I love that. I mean, it's kind of like a meme now, but your man,
Yeah.
it's like it cuts to his tie's a bit loose and put your garbage in a garbage can, people. I can't stress this enough. And you know what? I always
he's
like.
actually, his name is Goodman now. As
Of
the
course it
script
is.
goes on, like,
It's like, put it in a refrigerator, or failing that, a cool wet sack.
I did like with Mrs. Skinner. He's like, the county is threatening to take my Seymour away. It was like we had another flight over in the inflatable bathroom. I just kept screeching at him,
Yeah. And then you get Cletus.
All right. He's like, all right, very good.
And that's it. You get Cletus, and then the whole, like, I loved the funniest thing about that bit with Cletus, where he's like, I love you, Paul.
Yeah.
I love you, Cletus. And then everyone's cheering, and just someone in the back's just like,
Yeah. Like, this is a big win where it's like, don't strangle your child. It's like, let's stop all the fussing and
Yeah.
feuding. This got a laugh out of Faye when they're like, that's Bart's ring. Ding, ding, ding. And like,
Yeah.
and he's like, Todd smells. He's like, oh, I already knew that.
Yeah, it was a nice touch.
Yeah.
They legged it over.
Simpsons kids miss mom and dad.
And so then they get to the. I was a big fan of when Flanders is naming all this. It's like this is sort of thing you kids should have.
Hold on, let me get them here.
What was the actual line?
He's like, Jing.
It's like, Jesus.
Jing, don't you kids know anything? The serpent of Rehoboam, the well of Zohazabar, the bridal feast of
Go on.
Bet Chedra.
That's actually right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were never baptized.
Yeah. It's like he breaks out the smell. So I was like, no, that ain't gonna do it.
And then like he just takes it upon himself that they're going to baptize other people's kids into their religion.
Yeah.
Like that's so not okay.
Insane.
That is insane. He should be locked up. Like.
And like I did like while this is going on, it cuts back to the graduation, and he's like, "You've all passed the drug test except for Marge. Marge, you tested positive for crack and PCP." Like, okay, the retest says you're clean. Sorry about the mistake. It's like the only thing I'm getting high on is love for my son and daughter.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of LSD is all I need. He's like, all right, sounds very good. Not even listening. Like,
and it's actually a good joke.
Yeah.
Like, all right, very good. And so you get them. They go back to the Flanders place. It's like gone baptized, and it's just the sign.
I did like he wants to ring Reverend Lovejoy for advice. And he's like, Ned, have you thought of any other the religions? I mean, they're all pretty much the same thing.
He's so disheartened.
Yeah.
Like,
and then it's like the train, like, damn Flanders.
Damn Flanders. I was a big fan of the...
it's a real, like, Naked Gun joke.
Yeah.
When it comes back later on. And, like, bringing the new train track in. Like, and the car just smashes through.
Why do you hate my trains? And then, so Homer's in the car, they're on their way to find them. And he's like, in order to find Flanders, I'll have to think like Flanders. Yeah. He's like, I'm a big stupid lame-o, wears the same jumper every... The Springfield River.
Great gag.
That is a great gag.
Yeah. But it's so sinister where it's like, they clearly don't want to be baptized.
Yeah.
He is like... first of all, he's like reading it. They have their own family Bible as well, like the
Flanders family Bible.
Like,
I have to say I was a fan of the harmonies in was blind but now I see.
And like he's doing the hand thing, like
they've practiced this. So Homer goes. He gets there first, essentially. How does he get? He just legs it.
He gets there and then he runs down the hill and falls.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid thinking like it is like such a race against time. You know, it felt like a big finale as a kid.
Yeah,
They can't become Flanders, like, you know, like that sort of stuff. I watch it now, I'm like, completely different lens. I'm like, yeah, I see what they're going for. But also I'm like, this is mental. Like, you know, like this, like real world, like, WTF, you know?
Yes,
you know,
WTF indeed, Terry.
And Homer gets baptized by Flanders. Yeah. And I did love it. It's like,
and he starts getting all like sort of spiritual. It's like, wait, Homer, what did you say?
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, Bartholomew.
I feel like saying Augustine of Hippo after his conversion by Ambrose of Milan. It's like, shut your ugly face.
And I like that he just flat out like giving it to Flanders.
But he should, like,
absolutely. Yeah. And so Maggie has to choose between the two of them. I like the little juxtaposition, if I may use that word. It's great. Of the two of them.
There's like a lamb with the Flanders and then the frogs instead of Homer's
pants, like, or whatever.
But I like
it's a great touch that, like, because Marge is on the money at the start of the episode, and then
I think it's the same music as well, or kind of a refrain, and it's brought back in.
Nice.
Like when Marge comes around, and just Marge looks so happy to see Maggie.
Yeah.
And Maggie is so happy to see
Marge. It's like
Marge.
no question who she's going to as soon as she sees Marge.
And like, what did the Flanders just like slink off and defeated? Like
let's just go home.
Yeah. Like, we'll find some more kids to baptize next week.
And I like the end where it's like Homer's just looking for anything to laugh about with Flanders. Like, he did have a bunch of old paint cans. Like, old painty can, Ned.
A really sweet ending. Like,
and then I never noticed because I had the subtitles on. I was like, I was wondering if he had paint cans, or it was something like as he's gone, and they're still laughing again.
Yeah,
but
no, I always knew he'd keep his old cans of paint, and it's like, how do you like that, huh?
Thus ending the episode, Terry.
Shall we get into our ratings?
Please. let me ask you something, Mr. Sucker.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of this one?
I really liked it, but I gotta say, it was like, it made me angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Made me like Flanders less.
yeah, but at least I will say, at least it evoked something out of me. I think I'm using like Who Shot Mr. Burns as the yardstick for like, that was a meh, you know, for me. Whereas this one, I was like, well, not quite the same as Radioactive Man.
Yeah.
But like, I had some laughs in it, had some anger, had some feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good.
Like, which is what you want.
Especially considering you've already seen it like 10
Yeah,
times.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was not refreshing, but it was like,
You were looking at it through a different lens.
and I'm like,
this
oh,
time.
this is like, you know, it's different. You know, you never, like I say, never realized how affecting it was in terms of like.
It's the first time I've watched it as a parent.
Yes, exactly.
You know
And
what
it's
I
like a proper story.
Yeah.
It's one story, start to finish, which I always like if they can do a good
it's
job
true,
of it.
actually, yeah.
You know, they're all involved in the main story of the family being split apart.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was very good. If we're going to give a rating, I think it'll be 8.6. Because there was a lot of funny stuff in it.
8.6.
There was a lot of funny stuff in it. Like,
who would your MVP be, Terry?
I think I'm going to go with Goodman.
Yeah.
Or Agent Number 2.
Don't mind me. Just taking a shot. Goodman. Yeah, he was great.
I'm loving these side characters that they're
somewhat like is it malevolent, the word? Not
miscellaneous,
but there's just like they're like disgruntled or something, but they're
seems how would you describe him? Not really disgruntled, but he's like tired of everything, you know what I mean? Like he's like
like he doesn't like his job.
You know what I mean? He's like, but also he's like, why can't people just be like, why am I in a job? Almost like, why do I have to come here?
Why do you make me do this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yes, they should be here.
I would pretty much agree. I liked it was one story, but they kind of had it separate, obviously, with the kids and the parents getting them back and the kids adapting to Flanders. So I like that, the fact that they had the little mini things going, but it was all part of the bigger picture.
Hard to do well, you know?
Very hard. And Goodman would be my MVP, and my rating, Terry, since you asked, is 8.2. Which for me is quite high, to be honest. My last two were 8.8. I didn't like it as much as Radioactive Man or Who Shot Mr. Burns.
Yeah, but you were saying you're very generous with Mr. Burns last time round.
Yeah. What, do you think I'm too generous with my 8.2?
I think you're cutting it off the knees a little bit, if I'm honest.
What do you mean?
I would have
You would have thought I'd be higher or lower?
Higher.
No.
Okay.
It's me we're talking about here. I don't throw around 8s.
Oh, well, these should be 8s.
Well,
8 is the minimum.
I gave it an 8. 8.2.
Fine, whatever.
We get our plugs in.
Sure.
Where can they find us?
Why don't you tell me?
Instagram, Twitter, Put It in H podcast. You can find everything we do. You can buy one of these lovely t-shirts if you're watching it on camera, which I should mention that we are filming
our
this.
first one.
So check us out on YouTube. You'll find a link also on our Instagram page where you'll also find a bit of merch. It's all there. And
good quality t-shirt. I tell you, I'm making sure I'm going away the weekend. I'm making sure to bring down a lovely t-shirt.
Nice. Where are you going?
Wexford.
Oh, nice. The sunny southeast.
Well, I hope so. We'll see now tonight, unless there's been any new developments where it's like...
Are they saying there's going to be a lockdown?
I think they're saying, or, restrict your movements or whatever like that. Like, but
just give us just lock us in our gas or down.
After the weekend, just lock down,
I'll tell you what.
Let me get my weekend away.
I tell you what, if they lock down when you're in Wexford, you come stay with me, no problem.
But you live in Wicklow.
Right on the border. No one will know.
I'd still have to cross the border.
No one will know, Terry. Anyway,
no thanks.
You can email us at putinhpod@gmail.com. What else can they do to support us, Terry?
Well, look, if you like this content that we're giving you here for free. This is the free stuff.
For free.
Why don't you take a little creep behind our $5 paywall over on Patreon, where you're getting...
You know what's good for you.
You're getting our sister podcast, What's So Great About, where we're doing a miniseries on the MCU at the moment. I'm trying to show Andy what's so great about that. And of course, then when we're finished this great
Yes.
journey, I'm going to say.
Yes.
We'll be doing other stuff. We haven't decided on what the next miniseries is going to be, but it'll be doozy.
I have a couple.
Yeah,
of in
I
mind.
think you should pick the next one.
Ooh.
And then we'll be... There's content.
With pleasure.
There's content right there.
Yes.
It's fucking awful.
I can't wait for that.
We're also doing bonus weekly episodes over there as well. One's on The Last Dance. We've done one on drugs.
Yes.
We've done one on...
Bunch of music ones.
Yes.
We've done some TV ones. We've done... Next week, we're doing our... Is it next week we're doing it?
We're doing our
The
movie. The Dream movie.
Our Sega Dreamcast episode, where we pick
I get it. Dreamcast.
You like that?
Yeah.
Where we pick our dream movie, essentially. So it could be...
Have you picked your director as well?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you got to do your director, Andy.
Oh, I'm so excited. So yeah, we pick either a sequel or a remake or an original movie of like who would our dream cast be and all that sort of stuff. I'm going above and beyond, Terry.
Wow, I'm excited to hear it, to be honest.
Well, I've got a lot of work to do, but I have a loose premise and I have my actors. I'm surprised you couldn't guess who the other few were.
Pesci? I was thinking when I was listening back to it, like...
No, I don't have him in it yet. I have De Niro. I have a couple of...
DiCaprio?
Of course,
Oh,
DiCaprio is in it.
Yeah.
Um,
You still haven't watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, though.
No, and I really want to. Kerry's not interested at all. I'm like, it's apparently his best movie,
Yeah,
like, and
it's
Brad
great.
Pitt, and it's Tarantino.
So good.
I'd love to see it. I'm just going to buy it because I see it all the time.
Buy it.
in
Buy it on
shops for
Blu-ray.
like €13
Yeah,
or
buy it on
something like
Blu-ray.
that.
I
Yeah.
got it on Amazon for like £8 or something like that.
I
Like
tell you, one of the main advantages of me losing my wallet, as I
your
mentioned.
Amazon.
Finally, whatever Amazon is trying to do to take whatever amount of money it is every month, it was declined because it was on the old card. And I'm not updating it. I'm not asking questions. I'm just saying goodnight to Amazon.
Well, look, I was thinking about it here. I think you can actually set up profiles on Amazon now.
You give me a profile?
Yeah, I might do. Yeah.
Just for the sheer fact that I may actually watch something that
Well,
you can talk
we
about.
might need to use it for miniseries or stuff like that, so it
Yeah.
might be as good.
I'll take it, Terry. What have I got to offer you? I'm already mooching off your Spotify as well.
Just, I don't know. Just give me gifts. How about that?
Okay.
Not gifts.
Just give you money.
No, not money. Presents.
Gifts. Like
No.
animated gifts.
No.
I got you covered, pal.
No. My gift game is strong enough already.
Yeah, it is actually fairly strong.
Yeah. Anyway, if you can't afford the $5, I tell you
Get
what.
yourself together, I guess.
You could help me out personally.
Help him out.
Give me a 5-star review.
Give him 5 stars.
I keep asking you for it, and I don't know if we're getting them.
You're 5-starless.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
I don't
all I know.
You know, I don't know. I made the comparison. I'm like Mario now. Now I feel like I'm turning into Bowser. I feel like I'm gonna have to get angry, start clunking some heads
You
around
have to
here.
take those fucking stars.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna have to rob them. Take those stars from you people out there. Just give me 5 stars.
Give him 5 stars.
Come on,
Look at him.
review. Give me a review. What am I asking for? Am I asking for much out here?
No, you're not, Terry.
Anyway, a 5-star review really helps the podcast grow. A little blurb, whatever. The guys are great.
You know what? You know what would be great? You know what would be great, actually?
Yeah.
I see a lot of people doing it with other podcasts. And they say, hey, this is a funny podcast. Check it out. Sharing it on whatever. Do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
Look, we're coming in super hot right now. Thanks for listening. And
Yeah,
all, and
yeah.
all
We
that.
love you guys
We
out
love
there.
you.
Yeah.
We're joking, but seriously, do it.
Yeah. I mean, what does it take?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do it in my real life.
Do you know, Terry, that this? Yeah, I mean, I personally would never do that, ever. But still,
But you guys out there, you got some knife.
Our last one, the No Mercy one, was our 100th Put It in H episode.
Wow.
Snuck in. I did it, technically it's not our 100th Simpsons episode, so
Yeah.
we still have it. I must do the count on that. But we're getting close.
I'd say this is our 4th season.
So I'll tell you, all I do know is that it's about 200 hours.
Free. All
Yeah.
free. Anyway,
I'm getting
we'll
real pissed off.
wrap it up here.
Just
What are we at here? Jeez, okay. We better wrap it up.
Okay,
So,
well, thanks for
thanks so
listening,
much.
folks.
We'll see you next week with
Bart sells his soul.
Yes.
Very much aware of what one that is.
Wait a minute. Who's stealing your thoughts?
So join us for that.
Yeah.
And that's actually 2 weeks, isn't it?
2 weeks. So next week we'll be doing our Dreamcast on the main feed. No,
No, that's the Patreon.
next one we'll be doing
Survivor
is our
Series?
Wrestling Corner. Yeah, Survivor Series.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll probably be...
We're not
probably
doing
be
the
our last.
we're not doing the UK show, are we?
No,
Okay,
get out of
good,
here.
yeah, good.
So join us for that, and
Bon appetit.
bon appetit. Goodbye.